Caregiving can sometimes feel like an impossible struggle. Caregivers may be torn between taking care of loved ones and trying to maintain balance in life. The good news is that it doesn't have to be that way. The Caring Generation with host Pamela D. Wilson is here to focus on the conversation of caring. You're not alone. In fact, you're in exactly the right place to share stories and learn tips and resources to help you and your loved ones. So now, please welcome the host of the Caring Generation, Pamela D. Wilson.
I'm Pamela D. Wilson, caregiver, expert, speaker, consultant, and guardian of the Caring Generation. Thank you for joining me for this week's show, episode 220, How to Stop Feeling Pressured. Caregiver tips to manage care for elderly loved ones. Before jumping into this week's topic, please, if you find this podcast helpful, click the like or follow button on your podcast app or add a positive review. Your likes, follows, and reviews help the Caring Generation podcast offer support for caregivers and aging adults seeking solutions related to health, financial, legal, and complicated family matters. How many times have you felt pressured to do something? Maybe the response was, "Oh, no pressure," after someone asks you to do something. But you know that this person really wants you to do whatever they're asking you to do. That ask is very important to them. While caregivers may not feel that they are in control of their lives, they are in control of their responses and their perception of what is happening. Sometimes a caregiver or any person can get so stuck in one way of thinking that it's not easy to see that there are other possibilities. As the old saying goes, where your thoughts go, your energy follows. If you are in a constant state of stress, you might be physically and emotionally exhausted. If you are in a constant state of worry, you may constantly feel anxious and worried and be unable to sleep. So, it's important to transform feelings of pressure into a positive response of maybe reflection and creating next steps to respond to a stressful or high-pressure situation. In this week's podcast, I will share examples of how caregivers are pressured by family members and some options to consider in response. In my one-on-one consultations, I speak with caregivers who share stories about family members pressuring them to leave their job and care for elderly parents, or to move in with an elderly parent, or to take on additional care responsibilities. The question that most caregivers don't ask when considering these requests is, who benefits from my taking on this responsibility? How do I benefit? What risks am I taking on? Why is no one else raising their hand to participate or take on these risks? While caregivers want to be helpful, they often underestimate the short and long-term risks associated with caregiving decisions. So many caregivers say to me, "Well, it seemed like a good idea at the time, while now I regret that decision." Feeling pressured by elderly parents or family members is stressful, especially if you are at a point where elderly parents, siblings, aunts, or uncles are pushing or pressuring you to say yes right now to their growing requests. Let's relate the idea of feeling pressured by talking about benefit versus tradeoff. When others pressure a caregiver to do more, it is the caregiver who is trading parts of their life. Everyone else in the family benefits from not doing the work. So before you agree to add caregiving responsibilities, take out a piece of paper and make 3 columns. Number 1, trade-offs for me. Number 2, benefits for me. Number 3, benefits for others. Unless you are financially wealthy beyond all measure and you can pay for care for your parents so that caregiving does not affect your life, it's likely the column for trade-offs will be longer than the benefits for me or the benefits for others column. While you may feel good about giving back to care for your parents, your life will be affected, while other family members who don't help will go on with their lives. A lack of involvement by siblings may eventually make you feel resentful, angry, or worse. Your parents benefit by not having to plan because you're doing all the work. So before you accept the pressures others place on you to be a caregiver, take your time and think through the choices and make a thorough list of who benefits. If you need expert advice, you can schedule a one-on-one consultation with me by visiting my website, PamelaDWilson.com. Click on the Services tab and then complete the contact form on my eldercare consultation page. Feelings of stress and pressure can be self-imposed and relate to feelings of guilt or obligation. Stress results from thoughts and feelings and translates to anxiety, worry, or health problems for caregivers. Finding ways to cultivate inner peace amid chaotic or stressful situations can be beneficial when feeling overwhelmed. In stressful situations, before responding, take a deep breath, pause for a few minutes, take a time out, regain your composure, and allow that logical side of your brain to catch up with the emotional side that's wanting to just explode. Know that the actions and opinions of others are expressions of where they are in their lives and what they're dealing with. You may be in a different place in your life, which means you're making different choices. So let me share 2 stories that paint a picture of family caregiver pressures, and then 3 steps or choices you can take to respond to requests that you might rather decline. Scenario number 1. Family pressure for men comes from being an only son, whose father, mother, and siblings expect you to be the caregiver. Meanwhile, you work and have a family. It seems like everyone wants you to be the one who takes care of everything. If you are a male caregiver and an only son, you probably don't have anyone to share your concerns with because men are expected to take care of everything and not complain. When it comes to caring for aging parents, this approach is unrealistic and unsustainable. It's impossible to know what you don't know. Find a support group, whether it's online or local, so that you can share your experience with other people who understand. If you're looking for an online support group, I have one. It's on Facebook. It's called the Caregiving Trap. You can request to join. Having someone to talk to or bounce ideas off can be a relief for all caregivers. Scenario number 2, women. Because women have children and raise them, they are naturally expected to have the skills and desire to care for their aging parents. But what if you are a single daughter or an only daughter or a granddaughter, and this expectation exists? Or what if you are near retirement? You're looking forward to doing all the things you couldn't do before, but now an elderly parent needs your help. That can derail your retirement plans. Regardless of the situation, daughters of aging parents are often expected to be the caregiver. I've counseled women who were about to quit their jobs to care for an aging parent, even though logically they knew this was a risky choice. These women were rightly concerned about finding another job after their caregiving responsibilities ended. Others were considering moving into the home of an elderly parent in the next month or 2, with the promise from a parent that the home would be theirs in return for being a caregiver. How can a caregiver really know if a home would be a good trade-off for everything they don't know they are about to give up? I'd be interested in hearing your experiences if you've done that. If you are in either of these scenarios and are feeling pressured by family members or aging parents, let me offer a few more scenarios and actions or responses for you to consider. Number 1, if you are a caregiver being asked to do more and you have concerns, any concerns, look at these as red flags or areas that you should pay more attention to. If you give up your job, your income, and your health insurance for any period of time, how difficult will it be for you to replace that income and progress up from the level you were at when you were employed? Most women I know who've done this tell me it's not possible. In looking back, many caregivers do tell me that they were unable to replace their previous income level or even find a job similar to the one they had because their skills got rusty. Time out of the workforce was longer than they expected. Before deciding to leave a job with benefits, consider the long-term effects on your life and your family. If your parents have the financial means, let them pay for in-home caregivers or a care community. If they don't have money, plan as early as possible to access Medicaid services. Give strong consideration to giving up your life or risking your future by giving up a job, benefits, and retirement savings. Scenario number 2, siblings or one parent continues to pressure you to do more, and the parent you care for complains about your siblings who aren't helping, and even sometimes your other parent. My advice on this one is to take a pause. Stop the triangulation and hold a family sit-down discussion. You can learn how to respond to the parent who complains about everyone else. You can stop the complaints by saying, "No one else will know that you are upset unless you talk to them. I'm not getting in the middle. Let me schedule a time for a family meeting and you can tell everyone exactly what's on your mind." There is a point where, as a caregiver, it may be time to refuse to be the emotional and mental dumping ground for an elderly parent who complains and does nothing about their situation. When an elderly parent or anyone close to you pushes your button and you respond emotionally, it's time to ask yourself why. People who trigger our emotions can be our best teachers in determining the choice how to respond differently. Why does their action bother us? In this case, complaining. Does complaining or another behavior relate to a story we experienced when we were younger? Do we not like people who complain because we feel that all complaints have solutions? What stories do caregivers carry that need to change to support progress and a different path forward? Should the old story, "I must be the caregiver. I have a duty to be the caregiver. No one else will do this but me," be replaced by a new story of, "I've done all I can. I've done a good job. It's time to move on." You can tell your siblings, "I've done all I can and all that I'm willing to do. It's time for me to transition out of the role of caregiver for mom and dad and for you to start contributing. So let's talk about what you can do. I'll invite you to a family meeting." Now, it might be possible that no one attends your family meeting because they don't want to deal with family conflict. Their actions can be viewed as more pressure tactics for you to continue to do what you've been doing, being the caregiver. Honestly, don't let your siblings' lack of participation stop you. They haven't helped so far, have they? And they may not in the future. Send out an email invitation, mail a letter, offer a Zoom link, and see who shows up to talk. If no one shows up, then you have the right. Make a plan. to find an alternative care solution for your parents and make it happen so that you can go on with your life. Set a timeline goal to end your current level of participation and make sure that everybody in the family is aware of your plan. If they don't like it, then it's time for them to become involved. Number 3 is the story of money and inheritance. Adult children tell me they feel pressured by family to be the caregiver, to protect the family home, or to protect a parent's money by doing all the work themselves, because everybody else in the family wants their inheritance. Why should you, the caregiver, be the one who trades your income and the best parts of your life and the best years of your life to benefit other family members who aren't participating, but who want your parents' money? Now, on the other hand, if you're the one who wants your parents' money, then that's your choice. Don't complain about the consequences of your choices to be the caregiver and say that you're stuck caring for a parent you don't like, and you're exhausted and burned out, and on and on and on. You made the choice. You can get yourself out of this choice when having control over your life becomes more important than money and a potential inheritance. Caregivers, while you may feel pressured by others to accept more responsibility or to continue your ongoing responsibilities, honestly, if this isn't working for you, if it's not good for you, your health, your family, your career, that list goes on, it's time to speak up and say, no more. When family members pressure you or try to influence you or even bully you to continue, say this: I hear that you want me to continue to be the solution to this problem. What's your solution? How can you participate? What can you do? And if I say no, what will you and the rest of the family do? Take me out of the picture and find a way to solve this problem yourself. While it may be scary to say any of these things until you make yourself and your life a priority by having a plan, you will continue to feel pressured by and continue to do for others until you decide to change the story that you must be the caregiver. Is it time to stop and make a different decision? Only you can answer that question. I thank you for joining me for episode 220, How to Stop Feeling Pressured, Caregiver Tips to Manage Care for Elderly Loved Ones. If you'd like to read the show transcript and watch the video accompanying this podcast episode, go to my website, PamelaDWilson.com, click on the Media tab and then the Caring Generation, and scroll down to episode 220. I'm Pamela D. Wilson. I'm a caregiving expert, advocate, and speaker, your host on the Caring Generation podcast, now with 220 episodes and counting. I wish you all a good day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Sleep well, be blessed, and have a fabulous week until we are here together again.
Tune in each week for the Caring Generation with host Pamela D. Wilson. Come join the conversation and see how Pamela can provide solutions and peace of mind for everyone. Here on Pamela D. Wilson's The Caring Generation.